Hello and welcome to another video. Today we'll be looking at lambdas in Python. Lambdas are anonymous functions, which means that they're basically functions without the function name, and they are one-liners, which make them very quick and easy to use in cases where we don't want to define the entire function. So the way you define a lambda is you use the lambda keyword followed by the argument. This can be one or multiple arguments. Then you give a colon, and after the colon you define the function body, and this would be the operations we wish to perform on the argument. So in this case, let's say we wish to multiply two numbers like that. Now we can simply call this on 2 and 2, and this should print 4 and multiply the two numbers. Another thing that's really useful is in cases where we wish to sort a list of elements. So let's say we have a student's list that has a list of dictionaries, and we wish to sort this. So we just say .sort, students.sort, and you'll see here that you can give it a key function, which applies the function. The function is then applied to every element of the list, and the sorting is done based on the output of the function. So we say key, and then here we create a lambda function, and there you can say x. And then let's say we wish to sort on the grade like that. So you'll see that the lambda here takes basically every element. So it takes each one of these dictionaries, and then it sorts on and then it gives the grade, or it takes out the grade, and we sort on the grade basically like that. And you will now see that the list has been sorted according to the grades in ascending order. Now you could also do this without a lambda. I'll just show it here. So let's say we just create a new function like that, and then we just say return like that, and we replace this with the sorting function, and then you'll see that it does the same thing. But as you can see, it's a bit cumbersome to write this function and to also define the function body and all that. So it's much cleaner and quicker to use a lambda in this case. Say we have a list of numbers like that we wish to filter. So say that we only want to keep the positive numbers in this. So for that, we can use the filter function in Python. And we can give it a lambda function as an argument where we say that we only wish to keep the element if it is positive, that is if it's greater than 0. And then we just give the numbers as the second argument, and this should then return. And then we also need to wrap this in a list to convert it to a list object, and that should then return the positive elements only. Lambda is also very useful in cases where we use the map function from Python. So map is used in cases where we wish to apply a function to every element in a list or to every element in an iterable. So let's say map, and then the first argument is a function. So in this case, we can just create a lambda function, and then let's just say that we wish to square every element in our list like that. So x and then 2 asterisks and 2, and then we just give it the list. And also, let's wrap this in a list, and this should then return a list with every element squared. We can also give 2 iterables to map, and this is in cases where we wish to apply a function to two lists. So I'll just create another list called numbers2, and then give it as a third argument to map. And then here we also need to create an extra argument, and let's just say that we wish to multiply the two elements, and you'll notice that it terminates after 3 because map actually stops when the shortest iterable is exhausted. So it multiplies -1 with 1, 5 with 2, and -6 with 3. So the next function is the reduce function. It's also an example of where lambdas are used. So the idea with reduce is that you apply a function to a list, taking 2 elements at a time, and then you accumulate them so that you reduce the list of elements down to a single value. So we say reduce, and then we create a lambda, giving it 2 arguments. And let's just say we wish to multiply the 2 numbers, and then we give numbers as the final argument, and this would just multiply. So it would multiply 1 with 2, and then that result would multiply with 3, and the result of that it would multiply with 4, and so on. So in this case, it gives 120 as the answer. And the example of reduce is in cases where I'll just have an example here where we have a shopping cart with some elements and some prices and a discount rate, and we wish to figure out what the customer price should be at the end of the transaction. So for that, we say reduce, and then we create a Lambda function that takes the first argument would be the sum, the accumulated sum, and then the second would be the item. And then here we say that we add the sum at every iteration. We add the accumulated sum up until that point, and then we multiply it with the discounted price. So item price multiplied by 1 minus the discount rate, and then we give the shopping cart as the second argument, and then here we also need to give it an initial value for the first argument of the lambda for ACC, because in the start we don't actually have this value, so we need to supply it. And this should now give the grand total of 120. So basically what's happening here is that we're starting with 0, and then we're multiplying that with 0 plus 0.8 times 20, which is the t-shirt, which is the shirt price. And then we're doing an add, where we are taking 0.8 times 50, like that. And then we are doing another add on 0.8 times 80, which is the price of the shoes. You'll notice that that's also 120. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like if you liked, and subscribe if you wish to see more. And see you very soon in the next video.